Hello all, welcome to our AI Rapid Fire series where we explore the hottest trends in enterprise AI with the experts who are shaping them. I am Aditya, today's host from Pronix, and today we are diving into AI-driven security posture management with someone who knows it best. Joining us today is Albert Evans. He is Chief Information Security Officer at ISO New England. So, Albert, could you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. First, thank you for having me. Second, a little background on ISO New England. So we're part energy sector, part finance sector. I mean, we do many things, but the two primary things is we operate the power grid for New England, which is the energy side. And on the finance side, we operate the administrative market where energy is bought and sold. So last year, over $13 billion in energy from somebody's solar plant was put in the market to go to somebody's distribution, to go to somebody's house, as an example.
Thank you, Albert. So, ready to take 10 questions under 10 minutes?
Sure.
Perfect. Let's get right into the first question. So, Albert, what's your roadmap for incorporating AI into DSPM, that is Data Security Posture Management, and AISPM, AI Security Posture Management, over the next 12 to 18 months?
Okay. Well, we all know AI is all about the data. So we're assuming now that we have good data, it's organized, we've stored it in a location we have access. Then off of that, we want to access this data with AI, but we need to be able to have security controls to make sure sensitive information doesn't get put in. So that's the DSPM area. So when I think in DSPM, I'm thinking more solutions where I'm going to do AI in AWS Bedrock, Google Vertex, Azure AI, something in that platform where we're going to use DSPM for it. DSPM is also commonly used with some type of DLP, and some tools might combine it. So our roadmap is we're very much an AWS Bedrock shop, and we're looking at a number of different areas. We're looking at things for business enablers across the business, but we're also looking at things for IT enablers and security enablers. So I can't go into too many specifics off of it, but you can imagine any place you have data and a lot of data and a lot of level of effort to utilize the data, it's a great use case for AI. And AISPM comes into place because that's how we're going to secure the actual AWS Bedrock, for example.
I think moving on to the next one. So, how is AI enhancing visibility into data flows and exposure across cloud and hybrid environments today?
Okay, so I'm going to talk specifically from a cybersecurity viewpoint. So we're looking at improvements in security posture management. We're looking at improvements in exposure management. We're looking at AI-enabled security operations. We're looking at threat modeling. We're looking at opportunities further in the DevSecOps pipeline for more AI-enabled tools for scanning. And those are just some of the areas. Anywhere there's a lot of data, anywhere there's ingestions of data from multiple sources are good opportunities to evaluate how we can put AI into the process workflow with humans.
Very insightful. It's all about getting visibility at scale. So let's dive a bit deeper. And where do you see AI making the biggest impact in proactively identifying configuration drift or risky data access?
So for this one, what really screams to me is security posture management. So we all know lots of companies have security tools, and a lot of times during deployment, they're not aggressive on prevention settings or afraid of breaking the network. They say, we'll get to it later. And then over time, you have drift. The tool gets new features. You don't do it. News story, a big attack on there. And you look, oh, my tool says we're protected. Yes, your tool protects you, but you didn't enable your tool to protect you. You didn't continually you didn't address the drift, right? So that's a common problem. Common area, if we look when Russia's on the border with Ukraine and we're looking at, well, this is a different risk profile now, because there could be a cyber element to it. How are we going to map APT 28 and 29 to MITRE attack, right? Same thing. You want a security posture management tool to ingest all your feeds from your security tools, map all that data to MITRE attack, and be able to look at your configuration. So you have a near real-time view to make sure your agent's running, to make sure it's on prevent not detect, make sure it's updated, to be able to map to MITRE attack and look for gaps or overlaps so you can adjust strategy as conditions warrant it.
Absolutely. AI is unsung hero for data security. let's talk a bit about team alignment now. So, how can AI-powered posture management tools help align security teams with broader enterprise risk goals?
Okay, and this is where I go more to exposure management for that piece, right? So everybody in IT or security has experienced the pain of vulnerability management. We get all the CVSS alerts. There's a lot of level of efforts. There's teams, there's meetings. Is this really high? This is a critical. This isn't internet facing. We have compensating controls. It can take days or weeks of a lot of effort still for kind of the best guess to go to how you're going to manage your patching. So now imagine in this aspect, we have another tool. We ingest from your security related tools. So we have data on your systems for like your IT hygiene for your systems. We have data, OS level, patch level. We know what security tools are on there, what compensating controls do we have that will prevent the risk. And we have your vulnerability data that's fed into it. So we scanned, we know the vulnerability off of it. And now we use like a LLM driven remediation operations. So now off of this in a near real time, we can go, wait a second, from an exposure management, this is the system we need to patch in hours. This is critical. And then this other system over here, all we need to do is switch a toggle from this tool from detect to prevent, and we can save a lot of pain, and then we'll just do it later. And then patching becomes something we do as scheduled. We don't do as an emergency in the middle of the night. So I see exposure management as being a huge benefactor of AI-enabled tools.
Excellent. Yeah. Exposure management, a real team player, that AI. So let's hear about your team's work. So can you share an AI initiative your security team is currently exploring or piloting?
Yeah, everything I've listed. We've done a pilot for security posture management that was AI enabled. We're gearing up for we've done one for exposure management. We're gearing up for a second POV for exposure management for tool selection. We have looked at a couple AI enabled SOCs. Now, there's a lot of tools for AI-enabled SOCs, but you have to kind of think, how aggressive do you want to be? Will this company be in business a year from now? Will this company get acquired by somebody who doesn't align with my technology stack? Does it align with the tools I already have in place, or is it replacing a lot? So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot of change on the horizon in that area, a lot of opportunity. And then threat modeling is one we've evaluated, looked pretty good for that. There's some, and we have looked at a few from the DevOps space and the DevSecOps space for scanning. So that's in the security space. Now, obviously, you could take those same thought process and apply it across IT and the business.
Sounds exciting. Let's explore this more. So how do you balance automation with human oversight in managing data security policies and enforcement?
So you can have automation, you have AI-enabled automation, and they both follow the same thing. What we want to start first is the human. The human is the most important aspect, right? So we have people, data, process, technology, business. It all starts with people. We need to know what we're trying to accomplish as a business. We look at how do we enable the human as best as possible. We identify work that a human doesn't really need to do. This is busy work. It's a labor's work. I need to start this and sort through all of it so I can make a human decision. That's what we want to automate. We can automate it either through traditional automation or AI-enabled automation. But what we want to do is get to it so that the tools automatically do workflow and hand it to a human in the loop who's going to look at it, make a decision. And then maybe he'll launch off more automation and come back for a decision, depending on what we're doing. But the idea is to utilize the human's valuable time where we need a human and not to make the human suffer by doing the stuff we don't need the human to do.
Very thoughtful. Yeah. Human in loop and all. Yeah. Now let's look ahead. So what emerging trends in AISPM do you think CISOs should watch closely as we approach 2025?
They need to watch closely everything. So when we look at it, so we can look at AI security posture management, right? And we can look at tools. We can go, let's look, Palo Alto has AI security posture management. CrowdStrike has it, Wiz has it. But when you look at it, it's a little bit different. Like the CrowdStrike AI security posture management is more focused on workloads and runtime, and that's not what Palo's doing. Palo's looking more at the agent, inside the agent. So all the AISPM tools are working differently, and they're all evolving. Particularly the big cloud companies are buying up and building up capabilities in conjunction with their CNAP capabilities. So when you look at those tools, you're going to see a lot of change and more robust tools. And then we look at recently what NVIDIA comes out with a tool for scanning LLMs. Now, it's a free tool that just comes out that kind of disrupts some of that space and pushes them to innovate. Part of what you need to do is identify the framework you're going to use, because those are your technical controls that you need to be able to make sure you can risk your MITRE Atlas, your OSWAP, your CSA Mastro, or your SAIL framework. You need to align your technical tools with it by looking at the AISPM to go, how does that AISPM work? How does it align with the tool? How does it address my risks? And just like with MITRE ATT&CK, you're not going to address everything, but you need to address the strategy so you have comprehensive coverage across the whole stack.
Great perspective. Now let's talk about compliance. So, Albert, can AI help with regulatory compliance by mapping data security controls to evolving frameworks like NIST, ISO, or CMMC? Likewise.
Yeah, I would think you'd see, I had not personally looked at this, but I would assume a lot of popular compliance tools like Audit Board, for instance, I'm sure they're probably either they have or they're working on AI-enabled functions for their tools. You look at tools like Safe Security for enterprise risk management, and they're working heavily on AI. And some of the AI is to take the heavy lift off the human. How can we pull and manipulate and automate the data? We don't need a human to get to the action more quickly. So all across the board, yeah, anywhere there's data, AI can help. And there's a lot of opportunity in there, regardless of the tooling you're using, or if you're going to build it yourself for those shops so ambitious.
Important stuff. Let's move on to the advice. So, what advice would you give to the organization starting the journey with AI-powered DSPM or AISPM tools?
Okay, well, I think there was recently an MIT study where 95% of all AI projects fail. Well, you need to, don't get caught up in the hype. Don't go, everybody wants Microsoft Copilot. Oh, I think this is really neat. Let's spend a bunch of money on it. That might be a good solution for you, but make sure your solution is driving business value. So what I would strongly recommend is everyone has an AI committee, just like they should have a cloud committee. And many cloud committees benefit from FinOps for financial management. Same for AI. But you can look at AI tools. This business wants to use Bedrock. This business wants to use Vertex. This business wants Copilot, and all the different SaaS-enabled AI tools. All of these have different IT requirements, different security control, different costs, and you can really spend a lot of money to get to the result. So you need to first go, what is the business problem you're trying to solve? Then you need to go ahead and plan, is my data ready for that? Is it cleaned up? Do I have a data lake where maybe the data is organized, I can access it? Then you look at going the technology you're going to use and the framework and the technical controls.
Helpful as always. So let's wrap up with one big picture question. So what are the potential risks or blind spots of over relying on AI in security posture?
I think the number one, and this goes into why many projects fail, they don't spend enough time on the human. They go AI and they go, here's a tool. Well, you have to teach people either like prompt or content engineering. They need to understand how to put the data in. And the data is as good as the user. If your user's an expert, he puts the data in, he can verify it, get value, tune it, and move forward. If somebody gets the data and it just passes it off, you're going to pass off a lot of bad information. So you need to make sure that your human is right, is in the loop, is positioned right. You train your humans what they need to do. You make sure there's the right amount of oversight for your humans to make sure that AI is something that amplifies their ability and not something that's trying to replace their ability.
I agree. Over relying on it without human oversight could lead to missed threats or misinterruptions. So great way, Albert, and thank you for sharing your insights. So another rapid fire round packed with valuable insights. Albert, thank you for grounding us in realities of AI-powered security posture management.
Thank you very much.
So viewers, if you found this session helpful, follow us and tune in for the next episode of AI Rapid Fire series. And until then, stay curious, stay human, and stay ahead. Thank you.